Hey, welcome everyone. It is not Friday, but, in fact it's Sunday, but we have a special Grill and Torah coming on right now, obviously for the end of the Passover holiday. Today is actually the biggest day of the Passover holiday. We have the miracle of the splitting of the sea for the nation of Israel to go through. And the question that I asked is, was it necessary, number one? And number two, how much of our own effort is important when it comes to redemption? This is actually an ongoing, real machloket with different Jewish sages within the text of Judaism. And the question is a real question. In other words, how much do we have to put in for redemption, and how much do we have to be relying completely on God? And that is what we're going to be discussing. It's going to be a short Grill and Torah because my battery is going low. So anybody who's here, invite others to come in and watch it, and we're going to talk about this right now. All right, let's see who's in the house. I don't know, something's wrong on my Facebook. I only see 2 people here. How could that be possible? All right, so tomorrow we're going to be reading about the splitting of the sea and the ultimate miracle of redemption and of the nation of Israel being saved. Now, what I want to bring up here is something very, very important. There's a machloket, which means there's an argument in Judaism whether redemption will come only after the Jewish people are perfect, let's call it, have done full, what's the word in Hebrew, tshuva, have repented completely and be, tzaddikim or whatnot, or is redemption going to come and then the Jews themselves afterwards will do the redemption needed to continue and finalize the redemption. Hey Ricky, what's going on? So, for those of you signed in just now, we're just discussing the miracle of splitting the sea and the question of how much do we have to put into the miracles, into redemption, how much we have to rely on God above. So we know the first question I asked was the question of how much, what's going on here? How much is redemption relying on us? In other words, what are we responsible to do in our own effort to bring redemption? And how do we have to be perfect? Do we have to be, in terms of our behavior and whether we did repentance or not? Do we have to be, up there in order for redemption to come? So when it comes to the redemption of Egypt, we know that the Jews were not exactly on the top of the totem pole in terms of spirituality. In fact, there is a famous story, Medrash, that talks about the Sar, the minister in heaven of Egypt, going to God and saying, listen, why are you saving those Jews? The Jews, are idol worshippers right now, and so the Egyptians are idol worshippers, right? There's no difference between them, so what are you saving them for? So the story ends and says, and God says, I promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that I would save the nation of Israel from Egypt. But the answer is fine, but the question itself shows something. The question itself shows that redemption is not necessarily reliant or dependent upon our own repentance in terms of our spiritual situation or status. The redemption comes because God makes it come, and even though we're not there and would not deserve it, it's coming anyway. So the question is, okay, let's say that's true. Now what? Where do we go from here? Okay? So if someone's here, just give me a thumbs up, because I only see a couple of people here, and I don't know if the video and the sound is coming in clearly. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and I know that people are here and listening. I'll give it a couple of... there you go. All right. The traffic's jumping around. I don't know if anyone's here. I can't really see the responses, so if you're here, give me a thumbs up so I can... let's see. There we go. Got a thumbs up. And I just want to know if it's coming out clearly. Hold on. There you go. You're coming in clearly. All right, now I could see the... all right, so if we look at the redemption of Egypt, we know that we were not on any spiritual level whatsoever, number one. And so the question is, why do we have to do anything? If we're not on the spiritual level, why do we merit doing anything? In other words, if I want to teach my kid a lesson, right? I want to show him that he's really reliant on me. Right, and he's misbehaving himself. I don't want to give him any credit or any feeling of accomplishment. I'm going to give him and say, see what Dad gives you, you better appreciate me. Why is it that in Egypt, why is it that Why is it that in Egypt, God actually made the nation of Israel do things? Everything from the blood on the door sides to even when it came to the Yam Suf, when it came to the splitting of the sea, right? Bnei Israel were terrified. They look ahead of them and they see the sea, Red Sea there, drowning. They look behind them, they see the Egyptians, and they do the most natural thing that's supposed to be done by a Jew when he's in danger. They pray. They pray to God. And the answer that God gives Moshe Rabbeinu is truly unbelievable. He says, "Ma titzaki elai v'yisau." What are you screaming at me? Go. Now, for you and me, we say, go. What do you mean, go? The sea's in front of us. The Egyptians are behind us. Where are we going? It's ludicrous. It's crazy. Right? Where can we go? We're going to drown if we go into the sea. But when it comes to God, there are no boundaries. Just walk into the sea. It's like you don't trust God. If he took you this far, he's not going to take you all the way. So Nachshon ben Amidav, the one man who had that faith, jumped into the water, it says up to his nose, some says up to his mouth, but the point is to the drowning point, and then the sea split. And the question to be asked is why? Why did God need that action by one of the Jews? Wouldn't it have been better if it would have been all in God's hand and nothing? In other words, we wouldn't have had anything to do with the redemption? In other words, the point is we want to be all appreciative of God. And the answer is no. Absolutely not. And we see that from the beginning of the redemption of Egypt, where it says there that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God remembered Israel because they screamed to God. So God obviously does not have a bad memory. So what does that mean? He remembered Israel when they screamed. He was waiting for that action. He was waiting for the nation of Israel to demand the redemption. Not just sit back and say, oh, it'll all be okay. No, you need to make it okay. You need to take action and make it okay. And so when we got to Yam Suf, and there's going to be a supernatural miracle which has nothing to do with us, God says, I am not doing a thing until you take action. And it was only when one of Bnei Israel, Nachshon ben Amidav, jumped into the water, into the sea, up to his nose, saying, look, you know what? I don't at all rely on my own life. At all, God. I am completely relying on you. And only when Nachshon ben Amidav went up to his nose did God then split the sea. Because bringing the redemption, bringing the Geula, we saw it clearly in Mitzrayim, is certainly also up to our actions. And again, for those who are saying that how could Israel be the beginning of the redemption, there are people who don't do this and people who don't do that. These are the same people who are talking like that, the same people who would not have left Mitzrayim. In Mitzrayim, you were on the lowest level of impurity. They would never have left Egypt. If that's what they're measuring on, whether we are deserving of it or not, we would have never ever have left Egypt. So it's completely null and void, that claim, at all whatsoever. The redemption, there are two ways redemption to come, either when we deserve it or we don't deserve it, but it's going to come anyway. And there are signs, there are cleaner signs to when the redemption is coming. One, we say it every day, you look at, you'll see a sign when the Jews are coming from all four corners of the earth back to Israel, and that is going on today. And, what is that? Is it defrosted? Is this what you're bringing me? I need a knife. Get a knife from the kitchen. But the point is that no, we need to demand the Geula. We need to demand the redemption. Now, we've been given, I don't want to say on a silver platter, because we paid a dear price for being back in the land of Israel. Of course, we know the amount of soldiers who, were killed over the years, and people who were killed over the years. People gave their lives so that we can live here. So we paid a dear price, but we got the land of Israel back, and we got Jerusalem back. And the problem is, again, is that we're saying no. Just cut it open. We get just cut it open. Okay. We get the we got Yerushalayim back. We got Har HaBayit back. Say hello. Yeah, I'm just gonna say hello. This is one of the Wisers. What's going on? Good. See if Yami's. They're coming over for lunch tomorrow. What? Betach. Anyway, so the issue is the following: is that we got Yerushalayim back. We got Har HaBayit. We got the Temple Mount back, and we gave it away. We gave it away. We gave it away to our enemies. It's the most ridiculous thing that happened. We did this. You can't blame this on God, right? God, we won the war, the war, and we give things away to our enemies. Even today, we hear people talking about a two-state solution and this solution and that solution. Again, we're playing games with the present that God gave us. You can't do that. We have to demand the redemption and not push it away. And I think that is the main message of the seventh day of Pesach, where we are celebrating. We are celebrating the splitting of the sea and the real redemption, saving of the nation of Israel. Now, I just want to mention one other thing. That doesn't smell so good. All right. The splitting of the sea, and then afterwards, what? It was supposed to be 3 days. It's 3 days till we were supposed to go into the land of Israel. 3 days. That's it. That's how long it was supposed to take us to go into the land of Israel. And unfortunately, we did not accept the present, and we complained, and we sent spies, and we doubted God again and again and again, and then it took 40 years. So now we're back. We're here. And sorry about that. The question is, what do we do next? What is our next move? Are we going to accept the present that God gave us? Or are we once again going to push it away and say, no, let's give it away? It really is right now up to us. And I hope and pray that this last day of Pesach, Shvisha Pesach, that we truly learn our lesson and not make the same mistakes over and over again. And I want to wish everyone a very, very happy Pesach, happy Passover if you're not speaking Hebrew. And I want to hear Ratzon, it's the tefillah we say, hear Ratzon, that next year, Nuchal mina psachim, mina zvachim, mina zvachim, mina psachim, and we have the merit to eat from the sacrifices that would be on the Temple Mount, up on our Temple Mount. I just want to push one thing forward. Number one, I put up the video from last week on I-24 when I was debating Yariv Oppenheimer about the Haaretz anti-Semitic article, number one. And number two, oh, hold on. I don't want to ruin these steaks. Hold on, let me check this out. Oh, got some good steaks there. And number two, I spoke to someone today, online, and things got a little bit heated. And I said to them, hey, Eric, what's going on? And I said to them, very simply, I asked them, how, you think that Judea and Samaria doesn't belong to the Jews? I asked them one simple question. That's the only question I asked him. I said, what right? And he says he's an atheist, he doesn't believe in God. And again, that's his right to do whatever he wants to do. But I asked him, if you're an atheist, you don't believe in the Torah, and you don't believe in God, can you tell me what moral right? Don't give me a legal one. What moral right did you have to come into a land that you believe is not yours, occupy it, and build Tel Aviv University and live in Jaffa and Netanya, whatnot? I asked him, what right does an atheist like you have to come to a land not his? If you're going to throw God and the Torah out, you have no rights here. It's very simple. And he said to me, historical rights. I said, you're talking about historical rights from 2,000 years ago? I mean, so I said to him, he says, well, it's not about religion. It's about the fact that my ancestors were here. So I said to him, let me get this straight. Are you telling me because your ancestors were here 2,000 years ago that you have a right to come back and take that land? And he said, yes. I said, well, I agree. It was fantastic. Radical left-wing, secular, anti-religious guy. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Your ancestors, were they talking about where you live, Netanya, or Jaffa, or Tel Aviv? Or were they talking about Hebron? Were they talking about Beitel? Were they talking about Shechem, Nablus? Were they talking about Beit Lechem? What were they talking about? Your ancestors were not living in Netanya or Tel Aviv. There was no Tel Aviv or Netanya back then. There was Hebron. So I agree with you. That is our historical rights. If you don't want to accept God, it's your problem. But historical rights, that's fine. So keep those historical rights. We have much stronger historical rights in Hebron than we do in Tel Aviv. And again, Tel Aviv, keep it. Of course, we have a lot of good things coming out of Tel Aviv, but that's not the point. The point is, if you're here for historical rights, then accept it. Accept it. And I'm going to get on and say, I know you all think I'm preaching to the choir. I don't care about choir. I need everyone to sing louder. Okay? Even on the thread, first of all, please, if you're on my threads, do not curse and do not, call people personal names. Don't do that. We have facts, and let's use those. All right, people. I am out of here. Wishing everyone a very, very happy Chag Sameach, happy Passover. Kara, what's going on? You in Israel, Kara, or did you go over to overseas? You were away for a while, right? All right, people. I am out of here. Don't forget to share the video. And, of course, for those of you who would like, I'm coming to the States hopefully in May on a speaking tour about Israel and the IDF, as well as a fundraising tour for Standing Together. I am still looking for many more venues, so please, please, please give me a private message if you want to help me set something up in your area, or if you want to donate, let me know, or sponsor the trip, let me know. Australia and South Africa, you're on my list, so we got to get to you guys also. All right, everyone, have an awesome, awesome weekend. Shabbat shalom, not Shabbat shalom, Chag Sameach, everyone. Have a great, great holiday.